Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to our powers. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash, give it double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that have taught us this truth that are constantly will and well through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Hey, peace, mercy, and blessings to the beloved Akim that are out there pushing this word wholeheartedly in truth and in sincerity, that are not wavering to the left nor to the right, but constantly staying on that straight and narrow, fighting for your crowns in these last days that we are truly living in. Even shalom to the few sisters, those that are listening and learning in silence as the scriptures command you to do so, as well as the Israelite foreigners, those that may look like the other nations, but their seed line is going back into our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, and a lot is going on, all right, through the Holy Spirit. Okay, as we're seeing, they're pushing this Civil War headlines heavily right now. Okay, inciting those to rebel and riot, all right, and take matters into their own hands, which is all a part of the plan. Okay, all right, these Edomites, these banking families, you know, the Rothschilds, the Bilderberg, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the so on and so forth, you know, the ones that are really running things behind closed doors, they're pushing down these marching orders, all right, to uh, make the people, okay, resist, all right, as they're sending down these orders to tell these federal ICE agents to, man, create chaos as they're executing people, all right, because, whether it's a psyop or, certain fake shootings and things like that happen, all right, but certain deaths be real, all right, because they need blood to be spilled to convince the people, all right. So they're getting their marching orders, they're getting their execution orders, all right, and they're doing exactly what they're told to do, all right. So we're getting ready to see more violence and bloodshed throughout America. Okay, all right, and this is going to be the new normalcy. Okay, all right, where you're going to be scared to go outside your homes. All right, so let's watch this video.
Holy shit! Oh my god! Oh!
So as you can see in that video, ICE attacked Alex, threw him to the ground, took his gun, and then executed him. And again, I believe, I can't prove it, but I believe that Trump has ordered ICE to start executing Americans. And so does Catherine Austin Fitts, by the way. She's been speaking out against this, and so many others, Gerald Celente and many people I've interviewed are saying the same thing. This is Trump now waging an Israeli-type war against Americans. And remember when I said over the last couple of years, everything that Israel does to Gaza, they plan to do to you in America? And that's exactly what this is. So this is the Israelification of the federal government in America. And now ICE goons are basically IDF goons, and they're just opening fire on anybody they want. And this is just the beginning, I believe. You're going to start to see mass executions of America.
Yeah, this is just the beginning. All right, as even the scriptures go into, these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay, Mark chapter 13 verse 8, it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows." Okay, all right. Even when you go into the book of Second Ezra, the 16th chapter, all right, and let's go to verse 17. It says, "Woe is me, woe is me." All right, woe meaning destruction. Okay, who will deliver me in those days? Because what Ezra saw was chaotic to the point it made him sick. All right, he thought about, how am I going to get through these type of times? And what he was witnessing was what was going to take place all throughout America, which America is spiritually known as Babylon the Great. Okay, the place of confusion. All right, and right now everybody's in a state of panic, confusion. Okay, all right, they're hiding. They don't know if they want to go to work, especially if they don't have no documents. All right, people are trying to hold on to normalcy here, but life is getting ready to change. Okay, this is getting ready to be the Wild Wild West, some type of Max Payne, some type of what's the movies? The Road, the Book of Eli, all them type of apocalyptic type of movies, type of scenarios getting ready to be out here in the streets, okay? And this is why we say through the spirit, you got to get your mind right by Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, man, okay? All right, because it's getting ready to be many more people that are getting ready to perish out here in these streets, all right? So it's just the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, and the beginning of famines and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Okay, and they're here. All right, these bad times are here. Let's watch some more of this. All right, because they're sending down these marching orders. All right, and these things are happening. They're going to keep ramping up. Let's watch some more.
Of Americans on the streets of these cities, because the whole point is to start for Trump. I believe he wants to start a civil war, and the only way to do that is to just keep murdering people in the streets until there's an uprising, I suppose. So that's obviously highly disturbing. Now, and again, I apologize for the emotional intensity of all of this, but you need to know what's happening here. And this next video shows you even more. So let's go to the fourth video. It's very clear footage.
Honestly.
Now, it's from that video.
All right, and this is getting ready to be, again, a normalcy, all right, where people gonna be afraid to step outside of their houses. Matter of fact, let me just get this in the book of Lamentations, the 5th chapter. All right, in the NLT. This is Lamentations chapter 5. I'm gonna get straight to the point. It says, "We hunt for food at the risk of our lives, for violence rules the countryside." All right. So that's how bad it's going to be. It's going to be a lack of bread out here. It's going to be a lack of water. It's going to be people out here murdering one another. Okay. All right. All throughout the countryside, all throughout America, through these streets. Okay. Some way or some shape or form, it's going to be nothing but just death out here. Okay. Violence. Okay. And these Americans that have been given all these different luxuries, right? Hot water, heaters, the inner cities, which a lot of these cosmopolitan cities were created really for women. But you can see how the vibration of America, especially for the men, has given even men a feminine vibration. Okay, the convenience of things. You got all these fast food supply chains, right? You could get things at an easy access and go. Okay, you don't got to work for nothing. So a lot of people don't have skills. A lot of people don't have mental fortitude. A lot of people don't have to work hard for shit nowadays. It just comes quick and easy. All right, because Esau then gave you an easy bake oven mentality. All right, and we in a time where shit ain't so sweet out here. See, one thing about the Heavenly Father, man, that He created, okay, He created the wicked for the day of evil. Okay, all right, and we're dealing with the wicked. All right, we're going to keep harping on it. All right, Esau is the wicked. All right, a Trump right now, Nero 47. He is the evil emperor. Okay, all right. He's the wicked king. Okay, let's get this real fast in the book of Proverbs. It says, Proverbs 16:4, it says, the Lord have made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Okay. All right. And that's why people getting ready to be conflicted, afflicted, you know. Okay, because the scriptures go into in second Ezra, the 15th chapter, right? Let's get straight to the point on this one. It says, second Ezra 15:14, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. The sword is represented as the modern day gun, the blicky, the hammer, okay? Whatever you want to call it, okay? That thing getting ready to send hot slugs at your ass, okay? And pop your top like Jack in the Box type of deal, you know? All right? Because people going to have no remorse. You got that movie, I think, with Michael B. Jordan, something like that, No Remorse. You know, but that's how these Edomites are, you know, especially these tiny tops. All right, we constantly tell you that they're about rape, rob, murder, bloodshed, okay, pillaging, okay, you know, and they're on a conquest to establish this NWO, this New World Order, okay, and it's going to come at the cost of your lives. All right, so it says, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, which, according to the Constitution, right, you're supposed to be able to bear the rights to bear arms in case the government was to come against you. But look how they're flipping the script on you, because they've dumbed you down, you know, to believing that you really had rights and you really had a means to, you know, live this comfortable life, all right, governed by these laws. But these laws were only set up to just maintain structure and order for the time we're in now, you know, all right, to keep things accordingly, so that way they can get everything ready for when they was getting ready to pounce on you, you know, take away all your guns, take away or make things super hard for people to get, you know, things like that, you know, make it hard for you to get ammunition and stuff like that, because they don't want you to fight back. But see, one thing about America does have a lot of weapons throughout America, okay? You know, people right now are making ghost guns. You know, people do have weapons, armories. Everybody's getting ready to tap into that spirit. Those that know a little bit of some military background, some, you know, a little bit police force, they getting ready to ban what they own and fight against the authorities that be. Okay, you know, and that's why they getting ready to have to send in, you know, foreign troops to maintain the so-called peace. Okay, all right. Matter of fact, let's keep reading. It says, shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, for there shall be sedition amongst men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their powers. Okay, all right. So these are the type of times that we are in. All right, as a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. That's if men are going to be afraid, how much more a woman going to be afraid out here? Okay, a lot of women are getting ready to be booty, spoils of war. All right, and it's already happening. Okay, matter of fact, I think there's a little bit more on this Mike Adams video. Play a little bit more, and I'm gonna go to the next one.
Video that the meme image that I'm using in this podcast was derived. So, to my editor, can you show that meme image again? Which is the man on his knees with an ICE agent with a gun to his head, carrying out an execution. Now that video has given rise to this image. So this image juxtaposes the history of Nazis executing Jews from the late 1930s. I believe that image is from, or no.
All right, I'm gonna pause that one right there. Lord's one, I'll post this one in the description box below. I paused it at 1440. That was the spirit. But let's go to this one right here. Leaked CIA docs reveal plans to ignite civil war after the Charlie Kirk assassination. All right, let's play this one. Let's start this one from the beginning.
The chaos in Minnesota isn't by accident. It's chaos by design. The global elites, through their hijacked CIA, foreign puppet masters, and bought-off agencies, are deliberately pushing for civil war. Official government documents, declassified memos, and CIA leaks going back decades spell it out plain. This has always been the plan. After the Charlie Kirk assassination, they accelerated the timeline. That hit wasn't random. It was the green light to ignite division, fracture the nation, and force the collapse they crave. Why? To disarm Americans completely, to collapse society, to dissolve the republic, to lock every last one of us into their borderless one-world slave state. Stay tuned, because understanding the playbook is the only way we can destroy it. Before we dive in, called for civil war, states are pushing us towards civil war. And it's all part of their master plan to dismantle the republic and impose a one-world government with iron-fisted control. That's not hyperbole. The globalist tyrants in walls literally called for civil war on live television.
When things looked really bleak, it was Minnesota's first that held that line for the nation on that July 3rd, 1863. And I think now we may be in that moment that the nation's looking to us to hold the line on democracy.
Meanwhile, in Arizona, the Democrat Attorney General is telling people it's legal to use lethal force against ICE agents in the streets. Buildings are burning, streets are filled with tear gas, and the media is already spinning it as organic outrage. But you and I know better. This isn't spontaneous, it's orchestrated. And it's straight out of the playbook, made famous by legends like Bill Cooper, rest his soul, who warned us about the divide and conquer strategy of the power elite.
This country was founded by dangerous men. Amen. And the moment the people in this country cease to be dangerous men, it's going to be the day we cease to have a country. And I'm going to tell you right now, unless we can be successful in creating a real free press, where the American people get different viewpoints other than those expressed in the establishment-controlled media, there's going to be a civil war in this country, and it's going to come soon. The only thing that can stop it is by waking up vast amounts of sleeping people. Sheeple is what they are. They are following the Judas goat right into the shearing pins, and from there they will go to the slaughter, and they will not know that anything is wrong until they smell the blood of the sheeple in front of them.
This is why Israel are paying off social media influencers to spread propaganda. The same reason the Clinton campaign in 2016 had almost every mainstream journalist on their books, as exposed by WikiLeaks at the time. It's the same reason fact checkers were created, to control the narrative, to suffocate debate, to ignite civil war and destroy the republic. Charlie Kirk knew. Before he was assassinated by the power elite, he warned that civil war was coming because the elite were creating the conditions necessary for it.
When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens.
Think about it. The globalists, the central bankers, the shadowy figures in Davos and beyond, they thrive on division. They want America fractured along every fault line. Race, class, politics, you name it. Why? Because a united republic is their worst nightmare. A civil war is their golden ticket to use the national emergency to seize control and crush dissent, and usher in that new world order and tyrannical one-world government they've been planning for decades.
Yeah, this whole technocratical rule, all right, which you're going to be ruled by the means of technology, you know, and you know, Esau knows that he had but a short time, all right? So he's got to come down upon the inhabitant with a great wrath, all right? And that's what we're seeing. So even, you know, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, he's going to put the spirit on these devils to even go even harder, okay? You know, Revelation chapter 12, verse 12, it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. All right, so these devils gotta move fast with their agenda, move fast with their plans, okay? All right, So we can very well see, you know, a major situation where it sparks an outcry with, you know, Judah. You know what I'm saying? That's the head tribe, right? The so-called American Negroes. One of them get taken out, you know, in a inhumane way. All right, and then the Lord put the spirit to, you know, bring that spirit about in Genesis the 49th chapter. All right, where it says, let me get it real fast. All right, Genesis 49 and 8, it says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise, thy hand shall be in the neck of all of thine enemies. All right, because you know when Judah turn up, man, it's all hell to break loose out here. Okay, you know we talking about Judah fight back, cars flip, buildings on fire. All right, hey, bullets flying throughout the air. Okay, Judah will try to maintain and survive some type of way, but the Lord gonna put the spirit to put their hands on the necks of the devil. So it's gonna be all type of chaos and war out here. All right, you're gonna see war between Jake and Jake. You're gonna see war between Esau and Jake, right? You're gonna see war against Esau and Edom, right? You gonna see war with everybody. Okay, that like the movie Civil War goes into, right? You had the line that military officer told them. He said, "What kind of American are you?" All right, because you ain't gonna know what face to trust, you know, all right, because that's how much of chaos and bloodshed gonna be out here, and you ain't gonna know who to trust. Okay, you know. All right, and that's why, again, it's important to get your mind right with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because the Lord's going to have to shield us from these things, man. It says, shall be in the neck of thine enemies, thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? You see, all right, but it's going to be the spirit of the Lord to put. It's going to be the spirit of the Lord that jump on Esau to do something that's going to, you know, create a narrative so strong and impactful that's going to, you know, raise Judah up to be like, man, to hell with this shit, man. All right, we ain't taking this shit no more, because, you know, Jake for years been marching and chanting up and down the street, we shall overcome, you know, and all that garbage, man. All right, you know. And it's all going to be for ultimately the Most High's prophecy to be fulfilled, okay? You know, because, hey, 2/3 also have a role in the Lord's movie, okay? You know, 2/3 going to get steamrolled by these devils, man, all right? Because these devils, like Donald Trump, you know, I forget the interview he just had, but it was with a woman, and he was saying how they went into, you know, Venezuela and how they got Maduro, but the type of style they went in with that technology, that them hypersonic weapons, right? It took 30 minutes. They didn't lose no troops, right? That type of weaponry was making the Cuban military men and the rest of those that were at that fort pretty much bleed out their eyes and their ears and be all discombobulated and whatnot, man. You know? So he said we got more weaponry than that. These devils got more weaponry than that. And they got crowd control type of weapons where they can make your face melt, you know? You know, they done it before. Crowd dispersed. So Esau getting ready to roll all that out here, man. You know? It's getting ready to be a bloodbath out here. Okay, but these are just the type of signs of the times that we are in, man. Okay, all right. Everything ain't going back to pre-2020. Isaiah chapter 10 verse 5. It says, "O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation." Okay, the Assyrians are represented as the elites of this society. Okay. The Most High controls every spirit on the earth. Even these Edomites that are puffed up and proud, thinking that they're getting ready to accomplish their New World Order agenda, you know? But they're going to be used to come against what 2/3 of the nation of Israel. All right, the bulk of Israel that's right here in America, right? And that's the Most High's anger. That's Yahweh Shaphat. Okay, the Most High's judgment. I will send him against an hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil and to take the prey and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. Okay, all right, trampling Jake, easy work. All right, and even though Judah gonna be roused up and they gonna get their licks in on Edomites, but it ain't gonna be enough. Okay, you see what these Edomites do when they drop bombs, unmanned flying drones that drop bombs on schools and hospitals and regular day, everyday civilians, you know, that's in these other countries. What they gonna do to Jake that's out here when Jake out here tearing shit up, man? You know? They got these robots. Oh yeah. The war and the purge and the bloodshed is on. Okay? All right, that's why even the prophet Ezekiel. Okay, what is it? Ezekiel 21, right? Ezekiel 21 and is it 10? Matter of fact, let's start at verse 9. It says, "Son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord, say, a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree. And he have given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened, and it is furbished to give into the hands of the slayer." All right, and the slayer are these Edomites. Okay, they're the slayers. All right, Revelation, the 6th chapter, goes into that this man was blessed with the sword. Okay, all right, and that's why they're spending billions of dollars to fund these federal ICE agents more than even the police force. You know, imagine that. More than the police force, these federal agents are being funded. These ICEs, outfits, individuals. All right. So let's watch some more of this video.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations.
Let me run that back.
To use the national emergency to seize control and crush dissent, and usher in that new world order and tyrannical one world government they've been planning for decades.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
This is their ultimate goal. First, disarm the American people. They'll trigger it with the Insurrection Act, declare emergency, suspend the Constitution, and send troops door to door to seize every firearm. Martial law dressed as protection. Second, disarm the American nation itself. Strip sovereignty, dissolve borders, fold America into their borderless one-world empire. No more republic, just subjects. Gaza has become their testing ground. Americans are next on their menu. The tactics are identical. They use tools like Palantir to categorize and populate kill lists, and ramp up the violence using false flags and agent provocateurs, pushing things over the edge. One incident will lead to another, prompting even more over-the-top responses. Surveillance grids, checkpoints, digital IDs, it's all in the pipeline. If you're not protecting yourself online in 2026, you're walking into a digital prison of your own making. Every click tracked, every search logged, every profile quietly built. We're talking passwords, fingerprints, iris scans, and worse. So take back control. Visit vp.net/TPV to see the world's first trust. The problem, fan the reaction, then offer their solution. Ordo ab chaos. It's the motto and playbook of the New World Order. They've been using it for centuries. And the chaos we've been experiencing in recent times? Assassinations? Forest fires across Argentina? Greenland? None of it is random.
By the way, what are we doing with Greenland? We got to do something with Greenland. Where's my advanced team? Go to Greenland. They must have some satellite needs or something that we could do there. But we're coloring the world blue.
Now the curtain is starting to lift. It's time to trace the blueprints, connect the dots, and expose the architecture of control. Most importantly, it's time to talk about the one pressure point they don't want you focusing on. The leverage ordinary people still have. But first, an important word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is PillsForever.com. The cheapest you'll find any. There have been studies that show
We're unanimous in his death.
they're turning those. That's right. The Central Intelligence Agency, the king of covert ops. They've been running military-style regime changes and color revolutions on foreign soil for years. But now, they've been infiltrated by Mossad, and they're turning those tactics inward, running covert ops on American soil, against presidents' elections, even the people, stealing votes, executing assassinations. It's all in their wheelhouse. Just listen to this. A CIA contractor was caught on tape admitting they're the ones fueling the violent protesters at these rallies. The media, they're in on it, protecting the puppets while the strings get pulled.
So when a rally happens, that sometimes the bureau behind it?
Yeah, sometimes. Nothing like putting on a fake social media thing to like really get people mad. Post fake news. Sometimes it's not fake. It's embellished a little bit.
Who would be like a big influencer that you're after? You're like a, I don't know, like I don't even know these names. Like a Fox News person or like a Tucker Carlson or like.
I'm sure he's a right. You always want the biggest and loudest.
When you see those riots.
Hey, you know, matter of fact, let's grab that real fast. Hold on, because the spirit just came and hit me. Psalms 64, right? A lot of these videos that come out where they just openly saying, well, we put out the fake news and, you know, yada yada yada. They're the ones behind all this propaganda and lying and everything, man. But they get exposed on these things because the Lord put the spirit to make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. Okay? That show you that when deep sleep falleth upon a man, you know, it's the Lord that controls that man's goings. You know, when he wake up in the morning, his whole day is planned out. So these Edomites would do secret recordings and stuff like that to expose certain CEOs and individuals that would never get on camera and say it if they didn't know that they were being recorded. You know, that's the power of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? The deceive and deceiver are his. You know? Psalm 64 and 4 says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, which are the Israelites. Right? Because it's all about Jake, man. You know, how can he destroy us, keep us at the bottom, you know, build up this tower of, you know, this technocratic Tower of Babel to, you know, reel in their pseudoscience birthright, okay, which is all in vanity, man, you know, because that's what they want at the end of the day, okay, right? It says, son, do they shoot at him and fear not, right? Because, see, they don't fear that the Heavenly Father getting ready to strike them. They think that they good, and they not, you know? Everything that they doing, the Most High been watching, he's more calculated than these wicked Edomites, you know? They think they smart in their witchcraft and mischievous manners and pseudoscience. No, the Most High's 144,000 steps advance, you know. All right, so these Edomites are fools. Hey, like Job said, children of fools. Okay. So it says they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily, saying, who shall see them? See, he didn't think he was being recorded right there. Edomite didn't think he was being recorded right there. you know, talking shit. But got you. All right. One of your own. Most I put the spirit on him to capture what you had to say, you know? And then bam, a lot of these things come on to the internet at the forefront to bring more edification, just to show you out there that a lot of you Jakes, you better get your head out the white man's ass, you know? Always talk about this equality, God loves everybody and all this nonsense. You better stop that shit, because these Edomites do not love you, man. They got an agenda and you are not a part of it, man. They ready to destroy you and your family to accomplish it. All right? You are in their way. That's why we need Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. It says they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thoughts of every one of them, and the heart is deep. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. All right. There you go. Their own tongues are falling upon themselves. All right. Edomites against Edomites. You know, some get silenced. You know, some go hide out in different countries because they want to bring out the truth. Okay. But that's the spirit of the Lord. And the Lord has them doing that all for just us bringing forth edification's sake. All right. Because they too gonna go into slavery. They too gonna go into captivity. All right. You know, no matter how much an Edomite think they doing good, you know, I'm bringing out information, so please spare me. No, you ain't getting spared. Okay. You still about to be lumped in with your people. All right. Especially when Yahushai comes. Point blank period. You know. But let's go back to the video. All right. Let's watch the rest of this.
Disassembling, bricks in hand, masks on, is not organic anger. It's paid for, scripted, and directed by the evil elites, whose endgame is to burn America to the ground and rebuild it in their image. A smouldering ruin ripe for their new world order. And this isn't the realm of conspiracy theory. It's a certified conspiracy reality.
One of the most blatant is recorded in a confidential 1961 study commissioned by the U.S. State Department. A world effectively controlled by the United Nations directly states the key point.
It is world government we are discussing here. Inescapable.
The author, MIT professor Lincoln P. Bloomfield, also explains that the UN would have to have an unchallengeable monopoly on military power.
A world effectively controlled by the United Nations is one in which world government would come about with the establishment of supranational institutions characterized by mandatory universal memory. National disarmament is a condition for effective UN control.
The Bloomfield study is grounded in official American policy. That policy is stated openly in Freedom from War, the United States program for general and complete disarmament in a peaceful world. It was presented to the UN General Assembly by President Kennedy. The document calls for the transfer of national armaments to UN control in 3 stages. Stage 2 proposes that
the UN Peace Force shall be established and progressively strengthened.
At the dawn of the 21st century, programs to complete this stage are firmly established and well underway. The Freedom from War blueprint concludes with Stage 3.
Where no state would have the military power to challenge the progressively strengthened UN Peace Force.
This policy has guided every administration since. Even so-called conservative Republican administrations have been committed to building this new world order.
It's time to heed what JFK wanted, to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the winds, before it's too late.
He needs to recognize that we must stop the CIA from driving U.S. policy, domestically and foreign. I'm telling you, Steve, that is a massive, massive problem. And I wouldn't say 50%. I would say shut the doors. It is no longer, it's a dead organization, because it's an organization that is killing. It operates in the darkness. It is killing us. And so that's my message to President Trump. That's sort of step 1 for him. I don't care what somebody's handicap is. You take that organization and you rip it apart, because that organization is driving our policy everywhere, and it and it's killing our country right now.
Israel runs the CIA as Bill Cooper warned, and Israel was created by the global elite to spark World War III. And the goal of World War III is to usher in a one-world government. Seeing events on the ground in Minnesota any clearer?
Yeah, but the real one world government is going to be by the ways of Yahweh Shai, okay, and the holy angels, Israel, okay. You know, that's where the real one world government is going to be. That's what World War III is going to be about, the ending of it all. All right, so matter of fact, let me just go right here. I just want to end this right here because that was pretty much it, brothers. But let me hit this right here in the book of Psalms, chapter 91. All right, got to bring this out. Psalms 91:1, it says, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my power. In Him will I trust." All right, and that's whom we're going to put our trust in, is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. He's going to keep us stable, all right, during these turbulent times that we're getting ready to come into in full effect, man. You know, 2026 is already starting out with a bang, and it's only the first month within the so-called new year, you know. So we getting ready to see a whole lot more transpire throughout the rest of this year, okay, as the days go by, all right. So we got to prepare our minds to lean more on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, man. So it says, "Surely He shall deliver thee from the snares of the fowlers, and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings thou shalt trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid, nor for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday." All right. It says, a 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. All right. So the diseases, the plagues, right? You know, it's not going to come, you know, really by the Lord's elect. All right. And even up until the point where the Lord send those nuclear missiles, right? You know, because that's the final pestilence. You know, that's the final plague, you know, that the Lord's going to send upon this place. But the Lord's elect is not going to fill that fire, all right? The Lord's elect is going to get beamed up into those ships, you know? So out of everything that's going to be going on here, the Lord's going to make a way for the Lord's elect to escape. So it says, "Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked." Right? And the reward of the wicked is what? Punishment. Okay? You know? So it says, "Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling." All right? And the Lord means that. Okay? "For He shall give His angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thine ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, and the young lion, and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because He hath set His love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name." What are the names? Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai. All right? Yahweh and the name of His beloved Son, Yahweh Shai. Okay? Those are the names. "He shall call upon me, and I will answer him, and I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him." All right? So that's why you got to know the names. You got to believe. You got to change your mind. Renew your spirit day by day. Get your mind right by the Lord. Okay? Because only through Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is how we're going to receive rescue from all these different type of tribulations that's getting ready to be out here in these streets. So it says, "With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation." Okay? So Lord's will is edifying to the Lord's elect. With that, I'm going to say shalom.